touchdown by James Walters. Saves and bells, and he will get to the 2-yard line.
Synergy gonna go to the end zone. Touchdown, Black. Josh Gill.
Welcome back to SFL Crunch Time, Week 10, officially history, and all 24 SFL teams were in action. A lot happening. We have extended highlights for you, but first let's do some quick hits and go around the league. And we begin at St. Louis, hosting Atlanta. Ryan Roosevelt would find the end zone here. 3 catches, 61 yards, and that touchdown, the second-year wide receiver. But it would be St. Louis's day. Cairo Martinez, relatively quiet afternoon statistically, but finds a end zone here on short yardage. St. Louis holds serve at home 19-13. Big win for the Gladiators there. Jacksonville facing a red-hot Tulsa Desperados team. This is Jared Willis. He had 8 receptions on the day, including that first half TD. Douglas Brown continuing his Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign with that score. And Grayson Willis led all receivers with 9 catches. Jacksonville pulled one off on the road, 20-7. Denver going to Baltimore. Sports Gamers Online Stadium. Warren Murray had himself a day. 195 all-purpose yards, 6 touchdowns, including 5 on the ground, including the one you see here. The season 17 champs defeat the season 16 champs, 56-38. The red-hot Houston Hyenas team suddenly catching fire. Dave Burr finds Brad Jones on the left side, and Jones is going to convert that to a first down thanks to some blocking downfield. And here's another big block right there from Justin Williams. And Jones is in, and Houston back in to the playoff picture, 48-35. Los Angeles heading to Fort Worth, and Mike Twinscrew had himself a day. 11 catches, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jason Williams also had 2 scores. The Fort Worth secondary came up big. 6 interceptions, including this one from Aiden Davis. Fort Worth winning big at home, 46-14. Las Vegas heading to Buffalo to face the Corsairs. Queen City here on 4th and inches on offense, and Jet Zero is going to get stopped behind the line of scrimmage. A great stand and turnover on downs there for the Las Vegas defense. But Joseph Green would give one right back. Cody Griffin with the interception in the end zone. That is the only turnover of the game for either team. Queen City gets back to 500 with that win, 41-35. London at Sioux Falls. The St. Louis defense is legit. Johnny Pickler just found out. Had 5 interceptions on the day, including that one by Jay Ringgold. And there's another one for Ringgold there. And Nathan Barnett had a pick 6 also. Sioux Falls, 5-4, heading into the home stretch. San Diego at Mexico City. Scar Patterson had a rough outing. 6 interceptions, including this one from Derek Meerkat, who's going to score his first career touchdown on the pick 6. And Mexico City clinging to that South Division lead, 47-31, their win there. And first on the docket for our extended highlight package is DC visiting Arizona, and that big Scorpion. Call the big exterminator, please. Shabazz Synergy would get picked off here by Shad Allen. It would actually be Synergy's only interception of the game. And Arizona would capitalize. DJ Moses plows through and breaks the plane. Relatively quiet day for Moses, only 88 yards on the ground, but did have 2 touchdowns, including that one. Potty for DC converts from 36 yards, and it's a 7-6 game. Ashley Jackson, intercepted by Kanye Rockefeller. Rockefeller takes the knee in the end zone, and he just fired up. Big play there by the veteran. Potty. You're seeing a trend here. Another field goal, that's number 3. DC taking the lead, 9-7. Jackson thrown to the end zone. She's intercepted again. That time it's Daryl Bullock. And then this big catch here from Lauren Percoco, deflected and right into the hands of the tight end, setting up another potty field goal, his 4th, and now it's a 14-12 game. DJ Moses up the middle on short yardage for his 2nd touchdown. DC driving, trying to answer, trailing 21-12 now. Big catch from Josh Gill. DC will hurry up here right before the 2-minute warning. This drive would eventually stall out. And so they call on Potty to make his 5th field goal and to go ahead and try for the onside kick. That would good from 51 yards. And now can Potty execute the onside kick and hope his team can recover. Squibs it off the ground, deflected off the hands of the Arizona receiver, and DC does recover. And they are right back in this thing with less than 2 minutes to play. Take another look. It's bobbled twice, hit somebody in the helmet. And DC comes down with it. Synergy finds Mike Churchill, and he gets the Dragons into plus territory. DC would hurry up again. Less than 2 minutes to play now. Synergy would find Josh Gill. Gill had a monster game. 4 catches, 76 yards in total. DC has yet to find the end zone, though. Could they do it in the last minute of the game? Synergy does find Gill in the end zone for the touchdown. And now Potty, after 5 field goals, will make the game-winning extra point, and DC will run out of Arizona with a win, 22-21. 4-4 Lone Star heading north of the border to face Vancouver. Captain Canada will find James Walters, and Walters will sneak into the end zone there for an early score. Walters 6 catches, 226 yards on the day. James Troll for 47 yards, no good. And he is despondent, can't believe it. Pepper here would get picked off by Nate Hall. Return to sender. And Lone Star making this a game in the early going with a 10-7 lead. But Walters again would answer the call. 74 yards for his second touchdown. And that would be the rest of his scoring for the afternoon. 226 yards for a tidy 37.7 yards per catch average. Not too shabby for Walters. And Vancouver would have a pick 6 of their own. Major key, although he didn't have to run as far as Nate did. Vancouver back on top 24-10. And then on the ensuing kickoff, Deuce Fennick with a monster return, breaking a tackle. Chance to win, trying to catch him, but can't. But Major Key does run him down. But not before he gets to the Vancouver 23-yard line. Ike McBride trucking fools and taking no prisoners. And then she gets trucked by Josh Farnsey. What a game this was. And then Ziggy Hronek would get into the end zone. Hronek would finish with 8 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And there is a bobbled interception for Josh Farnsey, and Farnsey is going to go the distance. And he's got a convoy. They're not going to catch him. Lone Star pulled away in this one, but what a game. Legion win 44-34. It's a showdown in the Carolinas as Charleston heads to Raleigh to play Matt South. And the Carolina Skyhawks, Kentez Johnson, still trying to return to form. Finds Ken Macaro. Macaro breaks the plane. And that'd be a touchdown. 6 catches, 79 yards. And that score from Macaro. South trying to unleash the dragon. That is deflected and then picked off by John Stamango. Stamango playing center field. Gets the deflection and then picks off his own deflection. Setting up this Keith Swearingen short yardage run. Swearingen had himself a day. Hit the century mark, 114 yards on 32 carries. South throwing again, and it's another interception. Unfortunate luck there. Sam Blotner this time coming away with the goods. And this catch by Buchanan Simons is going to get inside the 5-yard line. Caught from behind. Simons nearly had the score. And so Swearingen's going to vulture another touchdown. That's his second. Charleston, the Mammals looking strong right now. 21-0. After the extra point, South taking another shot, and that one is picked off. That is Stamango's second pick. You can read the graphic. But if you can't, I'll tell you anyway. That's why I'm here. South. Another interception. Very unfortunate day for South. 4 interceptions on the day. Swearingen again. Nice little spin move there. Get into the red zone, and he does find the end zone. Inspiring run. 3rd touchdown of the game for Swearingen. Nice little block there. Charleston with a huge win on the road. After the break, Florida and Louisiana had a tussle that went down to the wire. Who came out on top? Plus the SFL Insider segment with Ross Napoli, What's Sizzling with Mike St. Green, and more extended highlights, including game balls. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more crunch time when we come back. And I'm telling you right now, this was a battle. Florida facing Louisiana. I had a chance to call this game live. It was fantastic. 4th and 1. Charlie Boletsky is stopped on 4th down. It's a turnover on downs. But then Louisiana in the same situation, 4th and inches, and Colin Hart is stopped. Dueling turnovers on downs to start the game. And Florida will try to settle into a rhythm, but that is deflected, and Mike Ryan comes away with his 11th consecutive game with at least 1 interception. One of the best free safeties, if not the best free safety in the league, getting it done, knocking the streak out a little early. Colin Hart this time, running around the left side, gets the seal, gets the touchdown. 13 carries on the day for Hart. B.E. Robo coming up with a catch there. He would have 8 on the day for 53 yards and that touchdown. Louisiana, though, not done yet. Randy Squarebush is going to run into the field goal range here late in the first half. And Otis Boudreau, who had 5 field goals last week in a shutout win, converts there from 47 yards. 3rd quarter now. And that's E.J. Midson. And Florida finds the end zone at last to try and pull within 7 points. The punt is blocked. Special teams play coming up huge for Florida, and they would capitalize on that here in the 4th quarter. Charlie Boletsky, shoot me, coming up with a big play there. The extra point would tie the game. However, Ethan Snead's effort would get blocked. Another special teams play making a huge impact, and the lead remains 1 for Louisiana, 17-16. Could Tommy Utah extend that lead at all? Throwing, and that is Evan Carroll coming up with the interception on the tip drill. And Florida has another chance to take the lead here with less than 10 minutes to play. Ron Cochran has all day to throw, shrugs off the defender, and then finds his man downfield for a red zone reception. Absolutely unbelievable. Ethan Snead would convert this here for 29 yards. And Florida has their first lead of the game, 19-17. Tommy Utah, what can you do for me? Well, he could find Garrison Blue, and I think that was Blue's first catch over the middle late in the game, just before the 2-minute warning. Still marching now here after the 2-minute warning. Finding Colin Hart. Hart will get upfield, and he's going to get blasted, but not before he gets the first down. Less than a minute to play now for Louisiana. Throw it to the right side. That is Chase Earl. And Earl manages to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Veteran move there with 52 seconds left. Utah under center now, going play action, throwing over the middle again, and that is caught. And that is well within field goal range. And Otis Boudreau drills it from 32, a walk-off field goal for Louisiana. And it's 6 in a row for the Revs, 20-19 your final. Joining us once again, the editor-in-chief of Swamp Talk, arguably the SFL's leading independent weekly publication. He's also the general manager of the Louisiana Revolution, arguably the hottest team in the SFL right now. Ross Napoli. Ross, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Josh. Great to be back as always.
I'm going to let you brag on your boys and girls in just a minute, but first, let's go around the league. Vancouver has already clinched the Pacific Division with 3 games remaining. It took them a full season to do it last year. They're well ahead of schedule. And earlier in the week, I should say, in the Discord channel, I think that kicked off sort of a flurry of discussion about realignment, especially with the idea of team expansion on the horizon. What are your thoughts on the divisions in the SFL, which are still very new? And is there a consensus among the ownerships or front offices about realignment in the league?
What seems to be the feel here is that a lot of teams are more concerned with the geographic location of teams more than what may be established rivalries already, or what the league may feel is rivalries as opposed to what the teams feel. So the more people that I reached out to, they said that if it made sense based on the new teams coming in and where their geographic location would fit in, and if they fit where it wouldn't break up an entire division right now the way that they stand, most owners would be okay with that. So it's more of the geographic location. I know there are certain rivalries out there that have been built since the since realignment happened already, and we went from conferences to divisions. In our division, there's a nice rivalry, so to say, going on with us in Atlanta, especially since Atlanta had played the New Orleans franchise more than a handful of times. You have Vice Wars each year with Vegas and Denver. So there are other ones out there, Lone Star and Fort Worth, kind of, since they came into the league. But it seems to be, at least out of the third of the owners that I spoke to, that as long as the geographical locations of the new teams place them properly and maybe redistributed some that may be improportionate right now to location, the owners seem to feel that's the best way to go about realignment.
And for the season at hand, Ross, we have 6 teams right now sitting at 4-4. Atlanta, who you already mentioned, Florida, Houston, Queen City, Denver, and London. And that's to say nothing of the teams that are 4-5 and 5-4, looking to compete for 12 of those playoff spots coming down the stretch here with 3 weeks remaining in the season. Well, I suppose 4 weeks actually, but 3 games for most teams. Which of these teams, for whatever reason, do you think is best geared for a run at the 12 seed or maybe a little better?
Well, I think right now the way that they sit seems to be the way that I would have figured it out of these 6 teams. Right now the 11th and 12th seed is sitting with Atlanta and Queen City. And it really seems to me, looking at their schedules the rest of the way, and although Queen City does not have a very easy schedule ahead of them, I do think that Atlanta and Queen City are probably the best 2 out of the 6. Florida has made the best of what was, at this point in the season, a weak schedule. They've lost to the teams that are making their push for the playoffs. And out of the 6 teams, they have the lowest strength of victory because their 4 victories have come against teams that are probably not going to be making the playoffs. So I think teams such as Atlanta and Queen City, the strength of victory for them right now makes them the top 2 out of the 6. And although they're only a game behind certain teams right now, a team like Lone Star that's sitting in 5-4, which I've been reminded by Greg Soto that I made a mistake that, I predicted them to go 4-8. So he was right in my DMs when they won their 5th game. But, they have what would presumably a lot of people would think to be an easier schedule out of their final 3, as opposed to some of the 6 sitting behind them. So it looks like Lone Star is probably going to keep themselves in that playoff race. And there are 1 or 2 teams that are sitting there right on that cusp of 5-4 that could very well fall out and allow one of these 4-4 teams to sneak back up and steal one of those spots. But as far as it looks for me right now, I think Atlanta and Queen City probably have the best odds to be those last 2 spots in the playoffs.
Swamp Talk comes out every week on the SFL Discord server. Ross Napoli here on Crunch Time every week as well. Ross, thanks so much.
Thanks again, Josh.
After this short break, San Diego and Mexico City had their own tussle. Who was Mas Macho in that game? When Crunch Time returns. Tulsa putting a 3-game win streak on the line against Jacksonville. Douglas Brown, could he keep his proficiency pumping? JQ gets intercepted there by Connor Darien. Not a great start for the Desperados. The Jacksonville secondary, maybe a bit underrated in SFL circles. Darien making a nice pick there. Marcus Dunhill's going to find Jared Willis on the swing pass, and Willis will break the plane. Touchdown there. Had 24 carries, but made most of his contributions through the air. Douglas Brown continues his Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign. Gets a score there. Grayson Willis would answer. Coming up with that score. 9 catches, 76 yards, and that touchdown for Willis. JQ trying to get back on track. That is deflected out of the hands of Gabriel Manning and intercepted. Greg Gaines takes a knee, gets the touchback, and that would result in that Jordan Bradshaw field goal from 34 yards. And Bradshaw's ecstatic, and why not? His team's got a 17-7 lead. JQ over the middle this time. Oh, man, that is just brutal interception. Stuart Zomelia coming up with a pick there. And Q can't believe it. In the fourth quarter now, last gasp for Tulsa, and Zomelia again goes up, and away, climbing the ladder to come down with his second pick. Jacksonville wins 20-7. The air show heads south. San Diego facing Mexico City, wearing their throwback gorilla uniforms. And this is Derek Meerkat doing some gorilla offense of his own. First career touchdown on the pick six. And Mexico City jumps out to an early lead, 10-0. Matt Wilson, the Hall of Famer, would find Nick Lockett. Lockett is in the end zone for the touchdown. 17-0, late in the second quarter now. Phoenix Jones one-handed on the swing pass, and he's in the end zone. And it is all Mexico City so far. Optimus Klein would take this punt from the 22 and spin out of trouble and reverse field, and he is gone. A punt return touchdown for the wily veteran. And Klein is in the end zone, giving signs of life to the San Diego team. Jones up the middle again, and he's in. 28 carries, 123 yards, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown for Phoenix Jones. San Diego would punt it away here in the fourth quarter to Jeffrey Daggs. And Jeffrey Daggs, inspired by Optimus Klein, is going to run up the left sideline. And he is to the his for the touchdown. Mexico City would have a 41-10 lead there after the extra point, and they would roll on 47-31. Joining us once again, SFL studio analyst, London Knights wide receiver, and accomplished chef. As a matter of fact, if I could read over your shoulder there, Mike, the 2019 Trail Boss Food Truck Award grand champion. An accomplished chef. It's so great to have Mike St. Green back and to be back in his kitchen. Mike, how are you, sir?
Hey, Josh, good to be here with you tonight, man, and I always look forward to visiting with you. And this is going to be probably close to our last visit, Josh. Maybe we have a couple more in our belts, man. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah, we're running out of football season here, so we got to make all of these count. Let's do some championship contenders here. Who are the best at show in the St. Green kitchen so far around the SFL? Championship contenders.
Championship contenders, Josh, and I've had some people that contested me on this first one, and I pretty much had stated this week coming into this past weekend's action, if this team wins this weekend, and it turns out that they did, the Louisiana Revolution, in my book, they're clearly a championship contender. This team has won 5 games in a row. And a lot of people say that this team can't score, and I can understand that argument. They're not the highest scoring team in the league, but they're not at the bottom of the pack. But what sets this team apart is that defense. They're led by Mike Ryan, 11 interceptions on the season, and he only seems to want to do it one at a time. Josh, he's at 11 games in a row with an interception, and the biggest thing about this team, the offense is not great, as I mentioned, but the point differential is third in the league. They're at 58 points on the plus side in point differential. So the defense is doing everything necessary to make this team a championship contender.
Give us another championship contender, Mike. Who else do you like?
Vancouver Legion. They're playing great again this season. Tom Pepper, he's at the top of the league in most offensive categories. At the quarterback position, Robert Redford, he's there as well, and Kendra Hall and Brett Killian, they are the only wide receiver pair that's on a winning team that are both in the top 10 in yards for the season. So they're getting super production from the offense, and then when you look on the defensive side of the ball, they're putting in the work there as well, because this team has the second highest point differential in the league right now at 67. So they're getting it done on both sides. Of course, we know that offensive is explosive, and Josh Farnsey on the defensive side, he's leading the SFL in tackles right now.
No argument at all on either one of those teams. I hope we see them play each other or playing Baltimore in the postseason. Mike, fresh ingredients. This is always my favorite thing to pick your brain on. Some of the new players, or maybe a new idea in the league right now. Give us your fresh ingredient here for Week 10.
Well, the fresh ingredient this week, Josh, we're going to talk about a little bit about expansion. Of course, what's more fresh than a brand new franchise?
Yep.
A lot of talk right now around the league about the expansion possibilities. The league has put out a set number that we needed to get to by a certain time frame to where expansion was more than likely going to be a go, and I know we're extremely close to that number right now, and it's some guys that's putting in some bids, and a couple of those bids have leaked out. One of my favorite bids right now, the Seattle Nemesis. That's by my good friend Ethan Kai. I've been on in several locker rooms with this guy over when I was a rookie in Albuquerque. Ethan Kai was there. I've had several conversations with him. He's been around this league a long time. He's put in, he's paid his dues. But my information that I have, Josh, is that it's going to be 4 or nobody.
Wow.
So it's real close on the number, but it's going to be 4 or nothing from what I understand. So what I would like to see, I would like to see 4, and I understand the reasoning behind the 4, and basically the reasoning behind that, I think I can say this is that we want to keep the division, the 4 division teams intact.
Fair enough. And just so everybody knows, he hangs out with Cam every day. So see, your information is probably pretty good, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah,
reliable source.
Pretty good. But I don't want to get out of here on the fresh ingredients without mentioning the other bids who I think are very strong bids as well.
Yeah.
Indianapolis Ramblers. That's a group put together by Chad Rowland and Adam Wiseman. That's a strong group. Everybody knows their reputation around the league. Another one is the Minnesota Legion. I really like that concept that they put together. Another great ownership group up there with BJ Lovelace and Axel Raven. I've shared a locker room with BJ Lovelace. Obviously, I'm in a locker room right now with Chad Rowland, so I know these guys. I know these guys are top-notch guys and would be great owners in this league. And really, one of the surprising bid and really the one that really kind of brought the biggest smile to my face that I've heard about so far, Josh, are the Calgary Buckaroos. I mean, who wouldn't get behind the Buckaroos?
I'm dying for some Buckaroo action. They're really and perfect for that team, which is basically, Calgary is basically the Dallas of Canada. Let's get down to it. Can't get any better than Buckaroos. Finally, looking for flavor. Somebody needs a little more time in the oven, a little more seasoning. Who or what, Mike, is looking for flavor this week?
Well, this subject matter is looking for flavor in my book, Josh. And it's been around the league for a few seasons now, and I'm on the side of our good friend Eddie Gage on this one. Forced retirement and mandatory retirement after a certain time frame. Not that I would be totally against it, but for me, I wouldn't want it forced on me. Yeah. But my biggest issue with this subject matter is I think it's a moot point at this juncture in the SFL history. I mean, it would right now forced retirement would actually, and I think the round number that we've heard discussed and thrown around is 20 seasons, and right now that would affect how many players in the league? 0. So, and then with the guys that are getting close, how many would affect? 5 or 6. And one thing I've known, I've been around this league since season 14, is that things change. It's every season. It's always someone that will surprise me and give me a shock that this guy retired or left. 20 seasons is 10 calendar years. So a lot of things change. I don't know if it would have ever affected that many players. So I just think it's kind of a moot point.
Mike St. Green, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Hey, Josh, have a good one, brother.
All right, you too. Up next, the Season 16 champs visit the Season 17 champs. Who would reign supreme when Crunch Time comes back? It's heading to Fort Worth. The Toros have won 2 of their last 3 heading into this game. Could they keep the party going? Jason Williams says the party will never stop as long as I have the football. His first carry of the game after his walk-off touchdown last week. Finds the end zone again in a hurry. And then this interception by J.L. Browning off Sully Richardson would set up this run after LA jumps offside. J.Z. Bacon making his debut here on Crunch Time. A lot of potential in that young fella, perhaps. And he would get the first down there and set up this throw from Johnny Rito to Mike Twinscrew. And Twinscrew had himself a day. That's his first touchdown. And it's 14-0 Toros. Twinscrew again. No, that's not a replay. Second touchdown of the game. Another field goal later, it'd be 24-0. And this time, Aiden Davis coming up with a big interception there. And Davis would get a nice return and put this into field goal range. And it has been all Toros so far in the first half. Richardson gets picked off. That's Browning's second interception. Linebacker patrolling that hook zone with a plum. And now in the third quarter, another interception. This is Blake Prine. Prine just goes up and gets it. 30-0 now. And Stephen Hacker, the Swiss Army knife, coming up with a touchdown there. And it's 37-0. Richardson, though, would find Davius Reed. And Reed would scamper, but he'd be caught inside the 10-yard line. Could they convert it here? They do. Jack Flash finally gets Los Angeles on the board. It's 38-7. Could Richardson mount a comeback? Going to his right side, a one-handed pick by Adam Leach. And Leach gets out of bounds in time for Jason Williams to score again. It was all Fort Worth, 46-14. Toros have won 3 of 4. The Denver Nightwings won the Season 16 SFL title before they retooled their roster. Baltimore won the title in Season 17, but they did not have this guy, Warren Murray, down the right side for a long-distance score. Most impressive. Murray would put the Redbirds over the Blackbirds, at least early. Murray again, this time from short yardage. Much shorter ride there for Murray. Baltimore up 2 scores. Bailey O'Shaughnessy sidestepping, re-sidestepping, and he's going to find the end zone. Big run for Shaughnessy, 15 carries, 143 yards, and that touchdown. And Mac Chima had himself a game also, 10 catches, 152 yards, and that touchdown, a 72-yard strike there. O'Shaughnessy getting a block from Mills and cuts back inside. And O'Shaughnessy is going to have a big run into field goal range, setting up this Matt Fennick effort from 25 yards. And it's 21-10. Denver looking to get back into it, but Warren Murray strikes again. Another touchdown, and that's going to make it 28-10. And Murray says, "Stop slapping me!" on the ensuing kickoff. Denver's going to run this out and fumble the ball. Baltimore's going to fall on it, already in field goal range. Would set up this throw to, Warren Murray. That was his only receiving touchdown of the game. Did not spike the ball. Riley Quintero will try to make a game of it. You take the late hit penalty as well, and it's 35-17. Denver not quite out of this yet. And Baltimore would get picked off by Nick Kindler, and Kindler is off to the races, to the promised land, to the end zone. Choose your own euphemism. Either way, it's 100 yards on a pick six from Nick Kindler, and now it's 35-24. But guess who's going to happen next? Warren Murray up the left side, spinning. And he's going to break a tackle there, and the rest of the Nightwings cannot catch him. 76 yards there. It's 42-24. A deflection there, and that's an interception by Marvin Himes on the tip drill. And once again, Murray with his 6th touchdown of the game. The champs looking prestigious, 56-38. More highlights coming up, including Atlanta, St. Louis, and Houston, Portland, when Crunch Time returns. The Swarm head to St. Louis. Colin Douglas trying to help his team win 2 in a row. And they'd be off to a strong start. Cairo Martinez from short yardage is going to break the plane. That's going to make it a 10-3 St. Louis lead after the extra point. Atlanta would answer. Brian Dynasty is going to find Ryan Roosevelt. The arc on that pass was just beautiful. Taking my breath away. We are not at a 10 apiece. The ensuing kickoff would be bad news for St. Louis. Shane Kaufman out of his own end zone. Oh, take a knee, Shane Kaufman, please. But he's going to fumble, and Atlanta's going to recover that. They would add a field goal to make it 13-10. Take another look. Not exceptionally hard contact, but sometimes it just needs to be in the right place. St. Louis would come marching down here. And that pass complete late in the first half. They're going to add a field goal. With this effort from Sammy Steele, 49 yards. That is money in the bank. We're knotted at the half, 13-13. This one could go either way. Dynasty, the deflection, bounces up in the air yet again, and finally intercepted by Mark Gronick. Gronick playing a little beach volleyball and football at the same time. Look at that squirt out of there. Gronick able to turn upfield. And I get a little spin move to boot. Very nice, Mr. Gronick. Christian Brown had a relatively stable day aside from that interception by Jay Miraculous. Miraculous just went up and got that Christian Brown. I wouldn't feel too bad about that one. What would Atlanta do with it? This is Mitchell O'Brien on the swing pass. And O'Brien's going to fumble, and St. Louis will scoop it up. Swing those arms. You just got yourself a turnover. That's not your sideline. Sammy Steele from 36 yards. That is good. It's 19-13. Dynasty trying to get it done. Colin Douglas coming away with a pass deflection on 4th down. St. Louis holds on to win. Now, if you're losing to Fort Worth, the Hyenas have won 2 straight. Now they head to the Pacific Northwest. Play Portland. Portland's still looking for their first win. And now they're looking for DR Sim, but he is gone on his way to the end zone. Every time he scores a touchdown, he resets the wide receiver all-time scoring record. Every major receiving record in the book belongs to that man right there, DR Sim, the living legend, the Hall of Famer. Into the end zone there, had 8 catches with 179 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game, including that one late in the 3rd quarter. On the ensuing kickoff, Portland trailing by 7, now trying to get back into this game. Leo Morris says, I have an idea. I'll just run this all the way back to the other end. Coast to coast. 100-plus yards on the kickoff return for the touchdown. Sonny Jay's not going to catch him. Nobody's going to catch him. Leo Morris, who has shown some explosiveness in the special teams game already this season, runs right up to the wedge and manages to bounce that outside before he is winning the gold medal in this race to the pylon. This was not the game at 35 apiece. Would this be Portland's first win of the season. Only time would tell. Brad Jones running up the middle there. It's going to be short by just an inch. Jones had himself an outstanding game. 30 carries in all. Over 200 yards. Try to bounce that one out. The rookie looking particularly strong, especially since Warren Murray came back into the league, the former Hyena running back, now with Baltimore. And Sonny Jay's going to blast that one through for 48 yards. Brad Jones was not done. He's going to run this into plus territory before being dropped at the 34-yard line. And then Jones again. Another race to the pylon, but this time Jones doesn't quite make it down to the 1. Portland would hold, and then it would be an 18-yard field goal. And Portland within 6, still having a shot at this one. And O.J. Bruin deliver in the last minute and a half of this game. That is a turnover on downs. So Houston, with a chance to close it out, would do so with DR Sim scoring touchdown number 3 of the game. Last gasp for Portland. Josh Rowe would come through on the interception, and Houston would make it 3 straight, 48-35. Plenty more here to come on Crunch Time. Don't go anywhere. Las Vegas has only won 1 of their last 5 games. Could they win a big pot against the Corsairs here in Buffalo? A.J. Caswell throwing to James Matthew Jr. Matthew Jr., they said he's in. Touchdown. Queen City strikes first. Caswell not done, though. Would find Deezer Powell, and Powell beats the coverage, and he is gone. And it is an early multi-score lead for the Corsairs. Vegas would answer, though. Scojo, Scott Johnson, shucking, jiving, breaking tackles. And that is a 75-yard touchdown run for the running back who still has MVP aspirations. 4th and inches, and Jet Zero is stopped. A huge stop for the Vegas defense. And now they would have a chance to tie the game here. And Mason Kirby does just that on that long strike. Kirby had himself a game, 7 catches, 136 yards, and that was his first touchdown of the game. Jet Zero trucking fools. He is into the end zone. 36 touches on the game for Zero, including that score. And now Chris Ochoa coming up big in the end zone. It is a 2-score lead again. Queen City led 31-14 at the half. Joseph Green trying to answer, finds Mason Kirby on the out route, and Kirby with touchdown number 2 of the game. And now it's 31-21. Doug Spelling with the toe touch. And that would separate Queen City for good. Corsairs win 41-35. A couple of 4-4 teams going at it here. London heading to Sioux Falls, and we've got water. We also have some football. Sioux Falls would open the scoring here. And that is Noe Terrazas getting started, but the extra point would be blocked. Bad news for Sioux Falls. It's 6-0. Robert Merrill knows the only way he's going to get the ball is if Pickler throws it to him. There's a touchdown. And it's 7-6. Mike St. Green materializes on the deep strike. And now London leads 14-6. Julian Tyree, though, not finished finding Kay Marion, one of the more prominent deep threats in the SFL this season. And she is gone on a long touchdown catch. London looking to answer. Finds Mike St. Green again. And St. Green has his second touchdown of the game. Had 118 yards on 5 catches, did St. Green. And this time Pickler intercepted. That's Jay Ringgold. No, excuse me. That is Nick Barnett on the pick 6. Barnett with his only interception of the game. Jay Ringgold had 2. But he didn't do this. Barnett gets a block right there. And it manages to head upfield and help propel Sioux Falls to victory 36-27. After the break, closing ceremonies with Cam and Mike. Game balls when crunch time continues.
Game balls. Mike, who you got?
Well, Cam, I think this is going to be a first in the history of MSG game balls. We're going to have a back-to-back winner, and he really left me no choice. But Warren Murray, I gave him a game ball last week, Cam, because, hey, comes off the retirement list and gets 87 yards and a touchdown. And, man, he tripled down this week, 184 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns rushing, 1 in the air, so 6 touchdowns total. He's really put them on a championship projection I didn't think we would see this season, not to this level.
There was no question where we were going to go with that first one, no doubt. Okay, second game ball. This is a tough one for me, but I'm gonna go Josh Gill. Shabazz Energy got the ball to him, yes, but Josh Gill has to make the route, has to make the play against defenders, and he did that late down the stretch. DC, a magnificent drive to win it after an onside kick recovery. Gill was the hero, and I think that receiving core deserves some credit as to why DC is 6-3, because Kevin Say is struggling, Mike, and that receiving core did step up in the second half to help DC get that win.
My next one is going to be a former MVP. He's been playing outstanding the past couple weeks. This is going to go to Marcus Dunhill. 31 out of 38, 339 yards, a couple touchdowns. He's gotten that interception bug out of his system a little bit over the past few weeks, and it has paid dividends for Jacksonville. Great day from Jacksonville and a big win for the Kings.
Okay, my next one is going to be a co-game ball because I feel like I can't split them up. This is a 1-2 race, Mike, for Defensive Player of the Year. And every week, they just keep outshining everyone else on the field. That's Josh Rowe for Houston and Mike Ryan for Louisiana. 11 games in a row. Now Mike Ryan has had an interception all 9 games this season. Louisiana holds another opponent under 20 points. That's 3 in a row now, Mike, which is really impressive in the SFL. And then you've got Josh Rowe on the other side. 4 passes defended, 2 interceptions. Josh Rowe just having a banner season.
Mike Ryan right now is clearly putting himself in a position to be strongly considered for league MVP.
Those are our game balls. We'll see you next week.
And that's it. We're out of show for today. Cameron Irvine, the commish, is going to be hosting Crunch Time next week. You don't want to miss that. Week 10 officially in the books. For all of our Crunch Time contributors, I'm Josh Zirkle. Until next time, I will see you on the internet. Keep on crunching.